Hey everybody, welcome to my first video of 2021. It's been a while since I've made a video at all, and one of the things I want to do this year is to practice reflecting on races rather than just racing, being done with it and moving on. It's something that I feel like most racers don't do very well. I know personally I don't. So this is going to be as much for me as for you. Hopefully you take away something from it as well. Today, with Hubapalooza coming up, I'm going to reflect on last year's Hubapalooza race. Today's is going to be the Enduro. Next week I'll reflect on my downhill race, and we'll just see how it goes. So let me open up stage one here. Boom. Top of stage one.
5 seconds.
And, waiting for the beep. Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, crunchy.
I feel like I'm never sure which gear to start in. I should maybe do a little bit better job of figuring out my starting gears next year. Felt decent through this top bit, but I also knew this next bit was going to be really pedally. And I had done definitely too much riding the week beforehand. My legs were super not happy, so this sprint, this section here just really wrecked me. I did well on this stage, but I can't remember. I think I was maybe like third or fourth. And I'm sure it's mainly from the pedal section. Both Cam and Justin are really strong pedalers, and I think they both beat me here this year on this stage. Alright, so we're almost out of the pedally bit. Almost getting into the actual start of a yard sale here. And I'm going to pause it right here because I had a little mental oopsie here. One of the things I didn't do well was make sure I checked where the tape was going to be, because I had ridden all of the courses and I made the course preview, but the tape wasn't up yet. And the year prior, when I raced a different race that ran this exact same stage, the go around to the left of this rock roll was taped in a way that the go around was way faster. So in my head I was ready to take the go around, and then I showed up and the tape was different. It's like, wow, where do I go? What do I do? Luckily, I mean, I know the main line here as well, but it took a little bit of mental processing to go, oh, tape in the way, gotta change it. So, you know, always, if you can, ride every course after they've taped it, so that you know exactly where the tape lies, where your lines can be and go, so that you don't make that same mistake. So I ended up having to go up and over that rock, which isn't a huge deal, but definitely freaked me out a bit. This section's so fun. Yeah, I feel like I rode pretty well through all of this. It's been a year since or not quite a year, but however long it's been since I raced this. Yeah, felt like it went good. I'll put some actual stage times up here to show you kind of where I ended up and on that stage results wise. Yeah, I was happy with stage 1. Legs were feeling it, like I said. So hopefully, I was like, hopefully in stages 2 and 3 and 4, I'd be able to get my legs back a little bit. Yeah, on to stage 2. You know, there might not be a whole lot for me to say on a lot of these courses, but it's just good to go back and remind yourself of what kind of things you can change and what things you need to practice as the season's coming up.
These little beepers are a little tricky.
Yeah.
It'll go as soon as 3 seconds within when I put it out, and as far out as 10.
Yep.
So as soon as you
Always listen to the timers. If the timers are telling you something, listen to them. They know what's going on. Even though the race briefing might have said something one way, the timers with a little bit of experience on the day are going to know exactly how they're performing that day. So just listen to them. Be nice to them. Generally, they're volunteers. All right, stage 2. Oh, stage 2 was commitment issues. This corner I feel like I always slow down too much for. Right-hand corners are definitely one of my weaker points. I can turn left pretty well, but turning right I struggle with. It's kind of my front foot corner, and I need to work on those. I should have entered that corner a little wider. That spot specifically, I'm going to go back to it here. This is a spot I did very specifically check the tape. So they put these logs here to make the go around a lot slower. Prior when I made my course preview, the logs weren't on this left side here, and you could have skipped over this pretty easily and made the go around a lot faster than or maybe not a lot faster, but at least safer and more consistent. And for me, if we got 2 lines and one of them is the same speed as the other one, but is a lot less consistent, I'm gonna take the more consistent line, or the safer line, so I don't accidentally end up over the bars, accidentally break something off on the bike. So for me, I was wanting to be able to go left here from after doing the course previews, but before race day, I definitely went and double checked where tape was here. So I was glad I did that. That was something I did well, unlike on stage 1. So glad we had a couple people out there heckling. So coming up here, this next right-hander I took real cautiously because I had crashed there during the course preview. I pushed out. Couple of these flat high-speed 90s or something I need to personally practice when it comes to making sure I'm braking sufficiently beforehand, because I tend to think I've either braking late enough, but it turns out I'm braking too late, and then I'm braking through my corner and I'm exiting a lot slower than I should be. Oh, this pedal was another slog. If I remember right, I think I end up messing this left-hander up. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm not really on the course here. I just didn't set myself up nicely for that left-hander, and I'm pretty sure my eyes were focused on where that tape was, which, as a lot of you may have heard, object fixation if you're gonna focus on something you don't want to hit, it's much more likely that you're gonna go that way. And I'm pretty sure that this is what I did, is that I saw where this this ball of rocks was with the tape on it, and instead of following my head through the corner and making the corner fully, I opened up my head, which pulled my body out and didn't let me complete the corner, which was a bummer. I don't think I lost much time there. I ended up being able to just bunny hop back in. But yeah, still something to be aware of, to make sure you're looking through your corners, following them all the way to the end. You know, no point in looking forward down the trail, or don't think about the next obstacle. Focus on what you're actually riding. And then just another sprint to the end. This sprint, I had a couple buddies afterwards, there was one buddy, he got to the bottom of the stage and just started throwing chunks, which was pretty funny, but also very unfortunate. It's never fun to watch somebody lose their lunch. So that was stage 2. I don't remember again what I did on this. I'm going to pull up the times and I'll put them up on the screen here when I'm in the editing process. Maybe next time I will do my homework beforehand, before recording, and do that. But yeah, stage 2 I felt like went well. Stage 3 here is where I ended up making up the most time. I know that much for sure. This was where I put the biggest gap on the group, and I am very surprised by it. I do know the top section of this trail super well, and I felt like I just really carried good speed through the second half of this trail.
Oh, okay. Good, thank you for telling me.
Here's another good example of listening to the timers. So the previous timer, you know, it explained how the beep was going to work. This timer said her beeper was not working, so you had to just listen to her say go. As the fastest that I've rode that top section ever, which was awesome. Felt really good to hit a couple of those corners as well as I did. This corner I came in too far inside. I would have liked to round that out a little bit more. Alright, dropping into the second half. This is the half that I don't know nearly as well. We kind of ended up off course there. A few of these corners got really tight towards the end rather than opening up at the end of the corner, and I didn't remember that well enough. Somebody encouraging me through the pedally sections, which is good. In college, we used to heckle people on the climbs just because we knew how bad the climbs were. We'd go on the cross-country course and find the worst climb possible out in the middle of the course, way out in the sticks, and just start yelling at people. That was always fun. Ugh, so right here, this tree on the left ended up snagging my hand and threw my whole front wheel off to the side. Freaked me out. I thought it was gonna throw me over, but I was able to pull it back, luckily pretty quick. I don't think it's noticeable here in the footage, but it happened and it was quite scary. Oh, yep, could see my hand get tossed over. Pretty smooth through those rocks. This was another one I didn't actually know where the finish line was on this course. Normally they finish farther down the trail than right here, so that was a little bit different. But that was fine by me, not so bad. Yeah, so that course went really well for me. The nice thing about late season racing is, man, I just felt good. Plus it was one of the only races I did this year. Let's go to stage 4, fourth and final stage.
Don't forget to breathe, Alex.
Getting told to breathe, very important. I think I was coughing up a lung right before we were dropping in here.
Seriously, don't forget to breathe.
I'm trying, man. It's a lot of phlegm in my nose.
30 seconds.
The nice thing about local races is all your buddies are volunteering too, so you get to mess with them right towards when you're dropping in. Helps me relax for sure.
That motivates me.
15 seconds. 10.
Don't remember how I did on this stage. I think I did pretty well. I was happy with my time. It's a hard stage to feel like you went fast on, especially after having followed Jake for the course preview, and Jake was riding this really fast during our course preview the weekend prior. It was really nice following him through because he taught me a couple lines like this one right here. Without him, I had been doing a different line, which was not as consistent and not as smooth. So if you can find a buddy to ride behind on occasion, even if you think you're the faster rider, it's good to ride behind people because other people have different opinion on how the trail should be ridden, and they might see something that's going to help you out. Like this corner, I tried to really jump to the inside rather than the outside. I'm going to show you. You can go back to that here quick. So you can see if you can hit that outside line, you end up really making a sharp corner out of it. And what I did was instead of taking the inside up high here and jumping to that outside, I went outside instead of taking the inside line, I went outside and pointed myself through that corner and really cut the inside, and it helped me a lot to carry more speed out of this rather than tightening it up. I did better in that left-hander on my race run than I did in the course previews as well. Course previews, I ended up taking the inside line, which again tightened up that corner. Another one, I tried to skirt the inside, opened it up a little bit, try to help with some of that trail speed out of it. I've always wanted to double that. I still haven't. Don't know if I ever will. Now this section, final. Stage 4, legs are burning and we're just pedaling uphill. I think I left my seat up high for too long here and kind of just butt slapped me a little bit on those rocks on the uphill there. I should have put the seat down, if I remember right. There's another Jake line. Thanks, Jake. That last corner, that last left-hander was one that, after having ridden with Jake, I knew it could be hit faster than I had been hitting it. And I realized how important that corner was. That left-hander, if you don't hit it well, you end up losing so much speed into a slightly uphill chunky section, or if you hit that left-hander nicely, you end up just being able to carry so much better speed. tight. Again, this one I didn't quite know where it was going to end, but I had a pretty good idea of it, so it wasn't so bad. And it was really nice and obvious. Lots of tape. They did a great job taping the courses this year, or last year, in 2020. So yeah, so there's how my 4 went. I ended up winning the pro class for the weekend. I was super happy about that. We had some really good racing. There were some tight times out there, so that was sweet. Yeah, just because you win doesn't mean that you did everything perfect, and it doesn't mean that you can't learn from the race. You know, some of my key takeaways were, 1, making sure I got proper rest before the race, because my legs were tired. I definitely didn't have the juice on the sprints that I wish I had. Yeah, I wish that I had. 2, making sure that you're pre-riding the courses with tape on them if you can. Obviously, sometimes either you aren't on location early enough to do that, or the tape's not up early enough because of site restrictions or whatever. But knowing exactly where that tape is just going to help you be more certain as to what line you're taking where. So if you can do that, definitely do that. And 3, even though you may not be feeling the best and your legs are sore, just keep trying. There's a good chance you can pull it off. So thanks for joining me for Race Reflections 1. Be looking out for a second one next week. I'm going to review my 2 downhill runs from Hubapalooza, and then I'm going to be trying to put out a video every week, so feel free to hit the like and subscribe button on the YouTube, wherever that button is. And if you need any coaching or you want some tips and tricks, hit me up with Growing New and Advanced Riders, my coaching company. You know, I can come and take you out and we can review some of these types of things out in the field and break down a course or just practice some skills. So thanks for coming. See you again next week. Now, let's see if we can edit all this together at some point after I go for a ride and do some coaching. Ugh.